Hello, welcome back to another top whatever type list. These are the top 10 best things that happen in comics and comics related. Yep. Early this month, I released a video of the worst things that happened this year in comics and comics related. Now I'm about to do the opposite. Let's end the thing because it's New Year's Eve. Let's end with some positive stuff. These are the top 12 things. And then number 12. Well, actually, first, before I review number 12, I want to give an honorable mention to the return of the dual numbering to the Marvel Comics that were relaunched this year. Thank you, Marvel, for doing that, because I think a lot of people, like almost anybody who reads your comics, are getting sick and tired of these damn relaunches, and we're getting confused about the numbering of these damn comics. Thank you, God, we actually have those dual numbering. Anyways, on number 12, Christopher Priest returning to Black Panther. Though it was for the annual only, but yeah, this I'm counting in the list because this is the first time he's actually written Black Panther since 2004. Yeah, this is the first Black Panther story he's written released by Marvel Comics in 14 years. Yes, 14 years since he actually stopped writing Black Panther, and now he gets to write him again, even though it's for a one story of the Black Panther annual, but I'm counting it. Because it's awesome. Really nice first time ever, Ross. Alright, number 11. The success of Aquaman, Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, and Deadpool 2. I know Deadpool 2 for some people was actually okay, or just not up to snuff with the first one, but I actually found it to be pretty enjoyable. Infinity War? Oh yes, definitely Infinity War. Black Panther, kind of the same thing, but my opinion, the best of these four films is Aquaman. Yep, the only DC film released this year. Yeah, that's something though, especially after last year we had released the awesomeness that was Wonder Woman and for a lot of people, the disappointment that was Justice League. Yeah, and by the way, Justice League got referenced in Aquaman for one line. Yeah, and one scene one line of dialogue the whole film. That was the only lip service we had with Justice League. Everything else is like everything else is all separate from Justice League. Yep. Right. Number 10. The Return of the Outsiders. Yep, I am so happy DC finally brought this title back. Because even though that it was supposed to come out this month, it's going to be pushed next year. This basically, if they released it this year, it would have been 7 years since how it ended. And now it's coming back, which I'm personally very happy with that because I love The Outsiders. One of my favorite DC comic books, and even though it's going to be called Batman the Outsiders, we have Brian Hill writing it. Awesome. Yep. And that was number 10. Number 9, the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers and Shattered Grid. Even though Shattered Grid basically was part of the 25th anniversary, but I'm counting it as basically part of it because it's like the only major franchise this year that's not comic related that actually had an anniversary this year. The only one I can think of anyways. I mean, I can't personally think of any this year. I mean, as far as I can tell, I don't think that G.I. Joe celebrated one this year. I mean, I think they could have won last year. Wasn't much of anything from Hasbro related to G.I. Joe, despite the fact last year was the 35th anniversary of the release of the Real American Hero line. As far as I can tell, Hasbro did nothing for that. Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing with Transformers, like nothing. I mean, yeah, next year will probably mark like 35 years since release of like the Transformers line, Ghostbusters, and Teen Man Turtles. But this year, aside from Power Rangers, I can't think of any that's not a comic related franchise that had an anniversary this year. I mean, there's no major film I can think of. Film franchise I can think of that actually had an anniversary. I know James Bond didn't. No, not really. Not for another few years. We have the 6th anniversary a few years from now, but at least 4 years from now. But yeah, aside from Power Rangers, nothing. And I did watch the Silver Anniversary episode. It was really damn good. Shattered Grid was a fantastic crossover. I'm glad the fact it turned out really good, despite the fact it was sad to hear that Kyle Higgins left the book. Even though that Margie Bennett is fantastic, I think she was a good choice to take over for him. Though Go-Go Power Rangers are written by the same person, and that title is fantastic. Yep. Alright. Number 8, Thor continue to be awesome. Moving on. And number 7, we have at least 5 triple-digit issues this year. Not 2, not 3, 5 in this year alone. We had Iron Man 600, Daredevil 600, Captain America 700, Avengers 700, and Amazing Spider-Man number 800. 5 triple-digit issues that were released just this year. Though you can kind of count 650 for Fantastic Four, but yeah, 5 really big issues released this year from Marvel Comics. Fantastic. Love it. By the way, out of all those comic books, every single one was really good. The Captain America one was interesting. It was a good wrap up to the storyline, but everything else, all the other ones, really, really good. Mm-hmm. Number 6, and some people are like, really? Why isn't this your number 1? Because it's my list, and I can do whatever the heck I want. Number 6 is Dan Slott ending his run on Amazing Spider-Man this year. I'm sure for a lot of people, thank freaking God he ended his run, because he should have ended his run like 5 years ago after he ended Superior Spider-Man. Yeah, he probably should have. Of course, at the time he ended it this year, he'd been writing it pretty much mostly on and off since 2007, since right after One More Day happened. And I think for a lot of people, they were so happy to see him go. And now he's on Iron Man and Fantastic Four, which Fantastic Four is amazing. And I'll get to Fantastic Four soon. Iron Man is pretty interesting so far. There's only a few issues, and I'm really enjoying it. Sorry about that. Alright. Number 5. And this was something I was really going to hope it happened this year, and it did. Hawkman getting an ongoing series this year. Thank you, DC Comics, bringing back this character's ongoing series. Because, do you know how long it's been since Hawkman's had an ongoing title? He hasn't had an ongoing title since 2013. It's been 5 years since his last series ended, and I really wanted to see him get an ongoing series, because Hawkman's just an amazing character. And he has one again. It's written by Brian Venditti, and it's really good. Heck, the most recent issue that came out had him team up with the Atom. Yeah, I think it was the Roy Chiu Atom he teamed up with, which is really nice. No, I don't think Tony Yesenia does the art, but I know Venditti is the writer of the book. It's one of like 2 books I can think of he was writing. The other, of course, was Damage, though Damage is ending soon. But yeah, love the fact they brought back this title. Makes sense. The character came back last year, so why? Though they also did make Marsh Matters ongoing series, but that's something that's together. Alright, number 4. Jason Aaron, Danny Coates, Matthew Rosenberg, Charles Shaw, Josh Williamson, and Christopher Priest having one fantastic year in comic books. Yeah, these guys put out a lot of good comics this year. Of course, Jason Aaron with Thor and Avengers this year. With Christopher Priest, we have Deathstroke, and of course, his run from Justice League. For Matthew Rosenberg, we have his run for The Punisher. We have the Winter Soldier miniseries published right now. And, of course, we also had the New Mutants Dead Souls miniseries, which I thought was really good. And I believe he also did the Multiman miniseries. That was last year as well. But, yeah, the guy's had one really good year in comic books. Danny Kostas doing Thanos. He's going to be doing Guardians of the Galaxy next year. And right now, he's currently writing off Venom. But the guy has basically put out a lot of good comics this year. A lot of these guys have. Show putting out 4 fantastic comics this year. Though pretty much all of them except for, I think, 1 basically ended this year. Yeah, the only one, yeah. He worked on, at the start of this year, he had 4 comics he was writing. 4. Daredevil, Poe Dameron, Darth Vader, and Astonishing X-Men. 4 fantastic titles. Shaw left Astonishing X-Men after issue 12. The Rasmus took over. That was a really good book he did. Yeah. Shaw left the 12 issues for that one. Poe Dameron ended this year after 31 issues. Vader just ended after 25, and he just ended his run for Daredevil. It's been in the book for 3 years, ending issue 612. Yeah. We also have Josh Williamson, who basically is continuing fantastic on The Flash, and is doing Justice League Odyssey, which is really damn good. Yep. Number 3. The Return of Fantastic Four and the Uncanny X-Men titles. As Fantastic Four, I think a lot of people were just jumping out of their seats when they heard about this. People were probably jumping all over the country that Fantastic Four is coming back. First time in 3 years that Marvel's published a Fantastic Four title. Because, now, this is why I've heard the reason why the title was originally ended back in 2015. There was a couple reasons why. 1, so it basically did not promote the awfulness that was the Fantastic Four reboot they had 3 years ago. And 2, And this was another rumor people were throwing around. Back it was not really a big selling title Marvel had over the years, but it's because of Marvel's dispute over Fox over the rights to Fantastic Four and X-Men that they couldn't publish a Fantastic Four title. They could feature Fantastic Four characters, just not Fantastic Four title. Yeah. Though we did have Marvel 2-in-1, which was a really damn good title. Sad to see it go after 12 issues in an annual. Zdarsky put a lot of work in that title. Matter of fact, he was another writer this year that did an awesome job this year. And he's taken over for show on Daredevil. Great choice, by the way. Guy basically probably bring some comedy to the book. After the book has been sort of semi-dark past few years. But, yeah. And, of course, he also is doing... I think he did the Namor Best Defense one-shot this year. And he also did... He's going to be doing the Invaders one-shot, which I'm looking forward to reading that. Yep. As for the X-Men, I've got to ask, why did Marvel end this title last year? Yeah, there was no reason this title had to be put on the shelf for a whole freaking year. There was no reason for it. But I'm happy the book just came back, and Rosberg is one of the writers book, along with Ed Bronson, the writer of Iron Fist. He had a pretty good year in comic books this year. And we also had Kelly Thompson. Good choice for a third writer, because the only books I could think of she did this year for Marvel, she did Hawkeye, she did the Rogue Gant miniseries, and she's currently doing the Mr. and Mrs. X series. Yeah. So I'm so happy that these two titles came back. And I'm sure that my friend Tivia, I think he was just so smiling at the news that Marvel was bringing back Fantastic Four. And having Slott writing is not a bad... When I heard that Slott was going to write it, I'm like, man, this is a good idea. Especially as he has written 2 group titles before this. Because he wrote Great League Avengers back in 2004, and he was the second writer for the Mighty Avengers book. The volume that started from 2007 to 2010, he was second writer of the book, took over from Bendis. And having Sarah Pichelli, who was a freaking collaborator of Bendis, having her do the artwork is a fantastic stroke of genius. And of course, we also have him doing Iron Man this year, which it's a pretty good title so far. I mean, it's a lot better than it's had been the past few years, but yeah. And of course, there is the number 1 is actually connected to this one, but number 2, and this I was so happy to hear, and I think a lot of people are very happy to hear about this news. James Robinson returning to DC Comics. Oh yes. I was happy he returned to DC Comics. In fact, he did have, in my opinion, the guy put out, every single comic he put out from Marvel Comics was a really damn good one. Books like Scarlet Witch, The Amazing Family Business one-shot he did back in 2014 with Mark Waid. You also had the Squadron Supreme. He was actually the last writer of Fantastic Four before Slott took over the book. You also had All New Invaders, Nick Fury, and Cable. All really damn good titles. But in my opinion, I think what the reason why he left Marvel after his 3-year contract lapse was because Marvel didn't promote his titles. Yeah, I don't think his 2 books ever got promoted at all. That's probably the reason why he was so bitter with Marvel, because almost every single book he was on, with the exception of Fantastic Four, Nick Fury, and Cable, all ended at the 15 issues. It's like a 15-issue curse with him, which in my opinion was stupid on the part of Marvel to do. Of course, I think he also did he actually did do the Armor Wars miniseries for Secret Wars. So he actually had 1 miniseries, a one-shot, and a handful ongoing series. But this year he had a run of Wonder Woman, which was really good. I can't wait to review when I can review the trailer that comes out. And he is currently the writer. He was also the last writer for Trinity. And he recently is currently the writer for Detective Comics, which fantastic idea to bring him back to the book for the first time in 12 years. Yeah, he has not written an issue of Detective Comics since the Face to Face story. And when he came back to Detective, I was so happy, because not a bad choice, because he's actually written the book before, though with issue 1000 it's going to take over by Pedro Tommaso, and I'm looking forward to that. Also, I forgot, there was one really big book that came out this year, Action Comics 1000. I forgot to put it on the list, but yeah, Action Comics 1000, which was a really damn good issue, by the way. And the one best thing that happened year in comics summary was the wedding of the Thing and Alicia Masters. Why I put this number one? Because it's a wedding that Marvel advertised, and it happened. Yes, it was one of the 3 weddings that was announced this year, and this wedding happened. I think Slott knew that he should definitely do this wedding and not chicken out at the last minute like Mark Guggenheim did with X-Men Gold 30 when he was supposed to have Kitty Pryde and Colossus get married, and what Tom King did with Batman 50 when he was going to have Batman and Catwoman get married. I think Slott knew about the backlash those 2 books got. He's like, okay, I'm going to have these 2 characters get married, and I'm going to put it on the book. This wedding has definitely happened. No kidding around. This wedding will happen. And it did. It happened. It happened issue 5 of this current volume, which is also the 650th issue of the series, which I was so happy they made this issue double size, and they acknowledged the fact it's 650 issues. Yep. Heck, they even had a wedding special. And at least for this one, the wedding happened. Unlike the other 2, which didn't, which really bothers me and a lot of other people. But at least not sending the writer death threats over a wedding that happened. At least, as far as I can tell, Guggenheim didn't receive death threats for what happened with X-Men Gold 30. But I know Tom King did. Oh gosh, he did. He got death threats. Yep. So, those are my top 12 best things that happened in comics and comics related this year. Yeah, there's a lot of really good things. I mean, yeah. Though also I could give all a mention to the fact that Superman had returned of his red trunks. I have heard that Batman's getting back his black trunks, which in the case of Superman, I think a lot of people are very happy with that. I think in the case of Batman getting back his black trunks, I think people are a little mixed on that than over Superman getting back his red trunks. So that's really it for this particular review, the particular top 10 video, top whatever type video. Stay tuned for my comic corner and reviews of news chapters of manga. I think, yeah, there's going to be a review of Overlord today. Definitely review the first compilation film and one of the OVAs. And I'm trying to think, was anything else? Oh yeah, hopefully newest episode released for Fairy Tail. Hopefully that can release today. Okay, but see you soon next review. Bye.